Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Weigh-In. The title of today's episode is The Instant Charisma Fix.
You got that?
Hit that subscribe button. Push it. Okay.
So tell us about this.
And read this book. So,
well, first off, you went so fast, I didn't get a chance to see it. Seduction.
Clement Knox, which
fantastic book.
Phenomenal book. Goes into like the history of seduction, something that you should get into. I've personally read it. You know, my partner, he's halfway through it.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, so just read it. Kind of get your seduction game up. So as far as the instant charisma fix, we're going to talk about what is charisma. So charisma is a attractive aura that captivates and inspires through a display of confidence and passion.
It's true.
Any words on that, or you want me to just keep going?
That's the basic description of it, but what's interesting is the way that we've actually been able to break it down to show exactly what it truly means. Because some people get a misconstrued impression of what it really stands for. We're going to give you the easy impression of what it means and a very helpful way of looking at it.
Absolutely. So, as far as charisma goes, we are confident about subjects and situations we feel we have a reasonable grasp of or an implicit control over. That's confidence. Like when you know something, when you have that implicit knowledge in your brain, when you want to inculcate that in another human being, you're going to come off more sophisticated and complex because you're in control of the situation. You feel comfortable with the knowledge. You really have it. You're sapient on this particular thing. Now, as far as charisma goes, that's confidence. The other half of charisma is passion. Now, passion derives from having a above average interest in something that carries a emotional, spiritual, psychological investment. So that is charisma in a nutshell. Passion and confidence. That's how you come off as charismatic.
It is so true because the basic charismatic is actually sort of like limited in some ways. When you actually add the passion element to it, you take it to the level where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Because everybody, like a good speaker, President Obama, whatever it might be, it's the passion and the charisma of what you do that makes you who you are.
Yes.
You can be very much into what you want to say and things like that, but if you don't have the passion, you come off a little phony, a little shallow.
What are you passionate about? I'm passionate about intelligence. I'm passionate about the brain. If you ever hear me speak about the brain, you're going to hear me at the height of my sophistication, at the height, yes, of who I am as a human being. What about you, my friend?
Well, first off, in a lot of our previous episodes, if you take a look at what we have on our selection on YouTube, you'll notice the stunning genius type stuff that my partner here has actually come up with.
Collaboration, reciprocity.
No doubt about it. But a lot of times, a lot of these things come from your point of view first, and we're able to open this up and unpack it for the public.
Yes,
he's
sir.
a genius, and I love the guy, and he's really, really good at what he does. But the things that I'm passionate about are obviously people who are smart, common sense, passionate, as we talked about, and who love life and love people. That's what it's really all about. We're in a complicated world right now, and for me personally, and for you, I know we have to be passionate about our soulmates and the people that we love in America, which is other citizens of America, all colors included, and that's what makes you a very good person. You have to be passionate about anything you do: life, love, sports, your marriage, your job, your friendship. It's the key to life.
So, the first thing I kind of want to talk about is the buyer-seller dynamic. So, the buyer-seller dynamic is the power structure between a buyer's decision versus a seller's disposition. So, with that being said, and to break that down in layman's terms, so as far as relationships go, when a man approaches a woman,
yes,
normally the man is in the buyer position.
That's
where
true.
He's like, I want something from the woman.
Sure.
So obviously that puts the woman in the seller's, position where she's like, I have goods that you want and I may or may not be willing to sell. As far as I'm concerned, the man needs to, as men, we need to flip that. You know, we need to flip that position of engagement. We need to become the buyer in social interactions. And what that means is, you know, and like we talked about in a previous episode, you know, when you're the buyer, you have the power. So you go up to a woman, you're engaged with a woman, and you say, and what you need to do and how you need to speak and what you need to say is you need to come across and say things that kind of eke out what the woman's about. You need to kind of deduct and deduce what this woman's about. Does she fit in the mode of what you want? So you want a woman that's funny. So you want a woman that works out. So you want a woman that reads a lot. You need to find out if this woman fits that, you know, if she kind of is she congruent to the model that you have in your mind?
Well, she will exude the passion that we talked about, right?
Yes.
So if she actually brings it out, you actually know that you're in, you know, step one is taken care of. You just need to dig a little deeper and to actually sort of like break it down to make sure that everything's going the way you want. Now, obviously, the passion can come from the beauty of the woman, or the way she talks, the way she smells, the way she sounds. There's a lot of factors. If she enjoys the cocktail, you're doing well. If she enjoys just the tail, you're doing well.
But
sorry, I was joking.
No. But here's the thing too. Like, I think most men, when they engage with a woman, they always come from the buyer dynamic.
Sure.
As far as what pickup artists used to talk about, and what they would call inner game, men need to stop coming from the buyer aspect. You need to come from the frame of mind that you are enough. You are important. You have value. And when you're engaging with a woman, you need to eke out what she wants and does she have the qualifications for what you want. Once you start coming from that perspective and that perception, everything changes. Because and we talked about this on and offline. You don't come from that, I'm trying to get something from this woman, so I'm the needy person, because that's going to come off. You come from the perspective and the perch from, I want something from you, and if you don't have it, I can be grateful and I can be happy about the interaction that we had, but I'm gonna move on and find somebody who fits my criteria.
Sure,
that's where you win. If you always come from that buyer dynamic, you're always needy, and if you need something in that woman's mind, you don't assign yourself for high value. You don't come off as a high status male, a high value male. So remember that, guys. When you're engaging with a woman, find out if she's the woman for you. Not just sexually, but someone you're gonna like, someone you want to be around. That's how you come off as high value. That's how you kind of change the buyer-seller dynamic.
Well, you can see examples of that in the rest of the world that we live in. If you look at your basic, mammals in today's world, either aquatic mammals or mammals actually like lions and whatever it might be, there are rituals on how you actually deal with, the opposite sex. If you can really work on those models and actually understand the rituals, look at an animal like the males will fight, and the rams will bang their rams together,
Yeah.
The deers, they run, they dig in the ground. The wild buffalo in America, the American bison does his thing, And once you learn what the rituals are all about, it just makes life a lot easier when it comes to dealing with the opposite sex.
Yeah.
And your partner will smell that and suspect that, and she'll know that you're the right person.
And speaking of mating rituals and mental models, you need to have a concrete idea of what you want in a partner, And
it can't just be about sex only.
And it can't just be about sex only. And you need to spend the nascent part of the interaction seeing if she lives up to that model. If you want a girl that's funny, if you want a girl that's nurturing, you need to know initially, from the inception, does she exude that? Does she give off those behaviors? Is that part of her complex personality matrix? And if it's not, you need to be able to let that go. Because what's going to happen is she may be, because here's the thing. You can have a sexual connection, but not have a social connection. So, like, we can get down in the bedroom, but if it comes down to, like, just us going out to the park, us going getting ice cream, us shopping at Target, I don't want to be with you, it's never going to work as far as the relationship goes. You have to have that balance. There has to be equilibrium. It has to be an equivalent exchange. I like her sexually in the bed, which is very polarizing, but when we're out hanging out, I like hanging out with her. I like being with her. I like, just being around her presence. That is equally as important.
Well, dating is a major part of the whole factor. Take for example, if you're going to buy a new vehicle, you take it out for a spin, right? You drive around the block a couple times. You determine exactly if that vehicle is what you want, if it speaks to you in the way it needs to.
Does it handle the road the way you like it to?
You could kind of take that towards how females and males act together. You can actually determine. So again. That's the reason why we date, which is another one of those rituals of some nature. And that's how you can determine exactly if you can actually accomplish what you're striving for. If you want to grow old with that person and raise a family with that person, that's what you have to do.
And the thing is, and once again, tying back to charisma, when you're kind of that interview mode where you're like, okay, you're thinking to yourself, I like pets. Do you like pets? And she doesn't like pets. You kind of strike that off, but that might not be a deal breaker for you. But you kind of go through and you keep evaluating different things, but you need to know if you like this person. And you can go back to previous episodes where we talked about this. Matter of fact, go back to our, Let's Talk About Sex playlist. Let's Talk About Sex playlist. Hit that subscribe button, and you'll see, we talk a lot about being able to like a person. Because, I've always said that, emotions like love, they're intense, but they're ephemeral. They come up, but they don't last long. Emotions like, being able to sit with a person, being able to conversate with a person over a long period of time, that is the emotion that just lasts for a long time. That's the one that you want to make sure is a component of the relationship. Because the sex is going to be there. I'm a dude, you a dude, everybody out there in dude world, we get horny. When I'm horny, and here's a funny thing, but it's true. When you're a horny dude, your standard of women goes down. When you're super horny, you may want a 10 normally, but when you're super horny, you're like, yo, I'll take a fucking 2 because I need to get this nut off. I need to, But when you're not as horny, that's when your standard goes way up, where you're like, okay, you work at McDonald's, I'm a, investment banker, or, I work, I'm a professor at college. We can't, we don't kind of align, I'm a family man. You don't want kids, where you won't be as easy to say, I'll be with you, or this can work out, because you're not blinded by just being horny and shit,
You can't let the sex drive everything you're hoping for in a person.
Yes.
You can't let that drive your decision in life. Remember, you're going to spend time. You're going to spend your lifetime with this person.
Yeah, and if you get married and you're willing to commit to that, you're going to spend years and decades. You said 40?
Yeah, almost.
My man's put down the 40 bowl. Yo, 40.
Dude, I got married in 81.
81?
My son is almost 40 years old. We were young, man.
My man's put the 40 bowl down. Yo, that's commitment.
Dude, I was 18. My wife back in the day was 15. We were just teenagers.
Because you're 62. That means if you're 18... That means you've been with Cher Bear for 44 years?
Yeah, we were dating for 7 years before we got married.
Salute to Cher Bear. Holy shit. Salute to Henny Boy #2. Big respect.
No doubt about it.
Damn.
Even though it's funny, we're laughing and we're chuckling about it, it's a lot of these facts that we're talking about.
I'm legit blown away that you've been with your wife for over 42 years.
Yeah. But look, there's been some tough times, but you learn to get over it. You don't just automatically freak
everybody
out.
Salute that shit. 40 fucking years, dude.
The bottom line is you learn from experience, right? So, and there was ups and downs in the relationships. So,
and give me one tome of advice that you would give to anybody that's 62 or younger.
Okay, well,
or maybe even 62 or older.
In a short phrase of time here, it's very easy to accept all the great things in a relationship, right? Whatever that might be, all the positive things. But the key to the relationships are not that, because those are the easiest things to love, right?
Okay.
The thing is, when you run into a stumbling block or a dead end or whatever it might be, and it throws you off a little bit, the key is to not let that become a bigger event than it actually is.
So make that a small thing.
You go with the flow and you deal with it. What does it really accomplish if you overexplode and you want to get into a giant fight and you're throwing shit against the fucking wall? It doesn't accomplish anything.
So
you got to learn to temper yourself.
So you supplicate a little bit.
You do. So because the good outweighs the negative, right?
Yeah.
So if you actually look at it that way, there's going to be more good times and there's going to be more negative times. And that person, your wife or whatever it might be,
Share Bear.
My wife, I love her. She feels the same way. She knows there's been great times and there's been negative times. But still, we're talking like 90% good times. That 10% is really small, you know?
Yeah.
Now, we got grandkids and we've had children. There's a lot of things that allow you to sort of like take the edge off. It kind of bleeds the pressure off the situation. Sometimes you need to have these things in your life. A lot of people will say like, well, I don't want to have children. I don't want to have the blah, blah, blah. Look, you can do anything you want. That's fine. But it's important because you're here on this planet to keep your family alive, to keep your species alive. Not species, but to keep your lineage going. So if you don't do it, you really sort of threw the towel in, and you may have wasted all your life.
So before this episode ends, I want to bring up the last thing, and it's rejection and outcome independence. So no matter how a situation turns out, every time you face a fear, step up to a challenge, you become a better person for it, and you raise your level of comfort and confidence. And also, when dealing with the opposite sex, it's never life or death. Your perception just makes it feel like it's life or death. But once you let go of the id and the ego, you lose your fear of rejection and you become outcome independent.
Damn. Poet.
So basically, if you let go of the outcome, you become a better person for it. And if you just actually deal with the situation and process it, you also become a better person for it. And that is the weigh-in. Like, comment, subscribe. Woo! You know what's in the cup? Henny boy.
You know it, brother. All right, coming in. Well, what's up, brother?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Weigh-In.
The weigh-in.
As we said it, we have brought it back. Fuck one, marry one, kill one. Fuck, marry, kill, baby. DC and Marvel. Let's go.
Let's go.
Who's starting? What are we starting with? I'm excited.
Since you're excited, you started off, brother.
Now, I started off, I'm going to give you your list, or you giving me my list?
You give me your list, and I'll go from
Okay.
there.
Do you want DC or Marvel first?
Let's go with Marvel. Let's get it out of the way.
You want to go Marvel?
All right.
Look at you son of a bitch. Okay.
You son of a bitch.
So, Mystique from the X-Men.
I like her.
Susan Storm.
She's kind of a little slutty at times with the surfer. Well, not the surfer. What's his name? Namor.
Yeah.
She likes those wings on the feet. And shit, you know?
And Jane Foster, the iteration who is Thor.
Well, they say about like candy stripers and nurses and shit. Jane Foster might have something going down.
Okay. So Mystique, Susan Storm, Jane Foster. Let's go.
So we're going with fuck first, right?
Yeah.
All right.